Armed with an understanding of the basic procedures for handling unknown risk vehicle stops, this module will take us into some additional procedures for handling the next level of threat that we will refer to as increased risk stops. We'll also view a number of vehicle stop scenarios. Sometimes the officers make the right tactical decisions, and sometimes they don't. The increased risk stop is a situation with possible risks to officer safety. However, the risk doesn't warrant the tactics of a high risk or felony stop. So what are the factors that can cause an unknown risk stop to escalate to an increased risk stop? There could be something unusual about the vehicle. Maybe the driver or passengers are slightly suspicious. The violator's driving could be erratic. Maybe the hour is late, or there are too many passengers in the vehicle for you to feel comfortable. But maybe it isn't any of these things, just a feeling, an inkling of danger that tells you not to take any chances. During increased risk vehicle stops, pay close attention to danger signals and always err on the side of caution. That means never walk up to the vehicle and always call for backup. A request for backup can occur at any time during the stop process. Never be too macho to call for assistance.
Okay. Stand right here just a minute.
This is the famous vehicle stop conducted by Constable Lumsford in Nacogdoches County, Texas. Clearly, the constable had suspicions that this vehicle stop was more than an unknown risk stop. However, the constable continually disregards safety procedures. He had such disdain for calling backup that moments before he was killed, another officer passed by, never even considering stopping to see if he needed assistance.
He's got the license with it.
Constable Lumsford was shot and killed with his own weapon. Failure to wait for backup has been named the single greatest tactical mistake made by officers in increased risk situations.
Sir, get back in the car.
If you sense trouble during a stop, disengage and move to your patrol car for cover.
182.
If the driver is outside the vehicle, direct him to a position on the side of the road or the front of your squad and return to your car. If you can't separate from the suspect, engage them in conversation that will keep the encounter low-key until backup arrives.
Okay, that's all right. Let me just get your name and date of birth.
And every time we come to town.
So it's going to be all right. It's just speeding.
On stops where 2 or more officers are available, responsibility should be shared and respective roles agreed upon before taking action.
What's your date of birth?
The contact officer conducts all the business of the stop, recording all written information, performing searches, issuing citations, recovering evidence, and handling routine radio communications. The cover officer intervenes to protect the contact officer, discourages hostile action by the suspects, discourages escape or intervention by other parties, prevents destruction of evidence, and may handle some radio traffic if the contact officer is busy. In increased risk situations, principles of cover, control, and distance are extremely important. Remember these procedures for an increased risk stop. Immediately increase your overall safety precautions. Never approach the violator's vehicle. Always make a request for backup. And continually reassess the threat level during the stop. Once backup has arrived, occupants should be separated to increase safety and facilitate a thorough investigation. Suspects should be watched carefully for any signs of flight or fight. Are they glancing around for escape routes? Are they clenching their fists or looking at your sidearm or legs? As a rule, always try to have present 1 more officer than there are occupants in the vehicle. If during the initial moments of a stop or during the course of the investigation, events confirm increased danger to officers, a transition to high-risk stop procedures can occur at any time.
28, Rust.
Remember the basics. Observe the vehicle and occupants. Select a good location to make the stop. Report all information to the dispatch and run a plate check.
Railroad, cross from the planer.
Stop at least 20 feet behind the vehicle, angling your patrol car slightly. Exit the patrol car quickly and remain behind the door and engine block. Never approach a stopped vehicle when there are indications of possible increased risk.
Driver, step out of the vehicle, please.
If the threat level escalates to high risk and backup is not immediately available, terminate the stop. You can follow the vehicle at a safe distance until backup is close by. Some officers automatically consider all vans, pickups, SUVs, and vehicles with heavily tinted windows as increased risk. Let's look at some additional aspects of the increased risk stop. Proper use of lighting is essential for increased risk stops after dark. Use your high beam spotlights and takedown lights to illuminate the vehicle and obscure the view of your location. Tinted windows are designed to defeat your lights. It's very unwise to approach a vehicle with windows too dark to allow you to see inside. An officer in Georgia did just that and was killed by a 15-year-old fugitive he never saw. A second officer killed the suspect by firing blindly through the tinted glass. It's simply too dangerous to approach cars with heavy window tint. You can minimize the effect of tinted windows at night by selecting a location with little exterior light. Direct the driver to turn on his dome light. With the dome light on, turning off your headlights in a low light area helps reverse the effect of the tinted windows, aiding your view of the interior, but preventing occupants from seeing out.
Everyone in the van, roll your windows down.
Directing the occupants to roll all their windows down can also minimize the danger from tinted windows. When you've called for backup, the physical surroundings will dictate the positioning of the secondary squad. On a narrow roadway, the backup officer may have to park behind the primary officer. All forward-facing lights should be extinguished to avoid silhouetting the primary officer. Rear emergency lights should remain on to prevent a rear-end collision. If there's room to the right of the primary patrol car, the backup unit can pull up to a position on that side. At night, a second set of headlights helps illuminate the suspect vehicle. Both officers have different views of the vehicle and clear fields of fire in this position should deadly force become necessary.
What's your name, sir?
The backup officer has several choices of positions, including a location behind their passenger door or a concealed cover position away from the vehicles. The contact officer should instruct the driver to turn off the vehicle. The driver can also be told to turn on the dome light, and occupants instructed to put their hands out of the windows. The driver can then be directed to exit the vehicle and walk back toward the patrol car. There are two places to position the occupant after they exit their vehicle. The first is to have the suspect stop at the front left corner of the patrol car. The contact officer should remain behind the patrol car door and converse from that location. This option should only be used in a parking lot or other site off the roadway. You can also direct the driver to pass between the two vehicles to the shoulder. If a two-officer unit makes the stop, the passenger officer should make the contact in this position, while the driver takes the cover responsibilities. The passenger officer should also remain behind the door, as the suspect is directed to a position to the right of the patrol car's front right corner. After control is established, be proactive. Investigative questions are necessary to reveal criminal activity. If you develop reasonable suspicion or probable cause during this process, do not let the person return to the car. Secure the suspect in the patrol car or turn the individual over to a backup unit. Never put someone in your car unless they've been thoroughly searched. The balance of this module consists of scenarios presenting situations where officers must assess potential threats and make the appropriate response.